I'm about to say something really controversial in Joe Biden's America. If you're able-bodied, you work. If you take out a loan, you pay it back. And if you commit a violent crime, you go to jail. And if you're a man, you should play sports against men. America needs more victors and less victims. I'm Tim Scott, and I approve this message because these aren't just conservative values. They're American values. And as president, I will defend them.
Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. That ad dropped in Iowa yesterday, and the man you heard talking in it, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, joins me now. Good morning, Senator. Great ad. Welcome.
Thank you, Hugh. It's always good to be back on your show. I hope you're doing fantastic as usual.
I am. I want to compliment you on the theme of these two ads, which is personal responsibility. Do you think there's an appetite for that in the campaign?
I think there's a hunger for us to get back to common sense. And I think common sense starts with looking in the mirror, as my mentor taught me when I was 15 years old, nearly failing out of school. He said, in the most loving way possible, look in the mirror and blame yourself. If you want your life to be different, you're going to have to do something different. It's a simple formula that worked for me and every other person that I know that has had outstanding success. They've had to look in the mirror and blame themselves. They've had to achieve this notion of individual responsibility. When that happens, Hugh, no matter whether you're a preacher, a teacher, God bless politicians as well, the one thing that happens is everybody around you, including yourself, gets a little better. So if you're able-bodied, you go to work. Work is not a curse. Work is a cure. We have to remind people of these basic, simple principles that allowed America in the shortest period in human history to become the superpower, not because of our success, because of our significance.
Now, Senator Scott, I resist turning every interview with a presidential candidate into an interview about Donald Trump. But the headlines this morning are about an imminent indictment of the former president. What is your reaction to those reports?
You know, one of the things I'd say is that I want it's a serious challenge for the president, former president. B, I'd say I still believe that the determining factor for the 2024 election should be the voters. I think it is very, very dangerous to see and or feel like the Department of Justice is being weaponized against anyone in this country. And I will say that puts a cloud over the entire process. I want the voters of 2024 to have a chance to prove that we want to have the power of persuasion in the presidency of the United States. And I'm hoping that they will choose me to allow me to be the president who persuades the American people to find common sense and common ground.
Well, I agree with you. I just think this is a cliff that we're about to walk off of, and I think it's a very bad choice by Merrick Garland. Senator, you're on foreign affairs, banking, and finance. So I want to ask you about foreign affairs first. China is opening a base, the Wall Street Journal reported an hour ago, on Cuba's shores. It's like a replay of 62 without the missiles. It's just surveillance. They cut off our ships in the Taiwan Strait. When you go to the Foreign Affairs Committee, what is your conclusion about China right now?
You know, the most existential, dangerous threat to American prosperity and security is China. President Biden has failed us. We see that back with Afghanistan. We see that with him slow walking resources and response to Ukraine. We see that in the Middle East with question marks coming from our strongest ally in the region. We cannot continue to allow the behavior of China to dictate what we do. We have to have a president who takes a strong, powerful stance and stops their aggression. That happens by A, decoupling our economy to the extent possible. B, building up. We have about 11% of our military assets in the Indo-Pacific. We need a stronger presence there. 3, we need to make sure that our allies, Japan specifically and Taiwan, know that we are loyal to our allies. And 4, we need to make sure that China, growing adversary, knows that we are lethal to our adversaries.
Senator, if you are the commander-in-chief and China attempts a hostile takeover and attack on Taiwan, would you come to the aid of Taiwan? Would you sink Chinese ships that are crossing the strait to invade Taiwan?
I think we have to recognize that the goal of our nation must be loyal to our allies, as I've just indicated. That starts with what we are already doing and have been doing for a number of years. First, we need to continue to provide the resources to the Taiwanese military. Second, we need to make sure that we can produce the resources that we commit to. And today, we are struggling with that. Hugh, you know that as well as anybody, that in America today, we don't make things fast. And the industrial revolution that is necessary for the military resources and equipment and the most lethal weapons to be in the hands of the Taiwanese military to defend themselves has not happened yet, even though we've promised them. And the final thing I'd say is we must stand shoulder to shoulder with the Taiwanese government and the military when it comes to defending what we believe is our ally.
Now, Senator, I want to go to politics for a second. I've been studying the rollout of your campaign, and I've been comparing it to the announcement of President Obama when he was Senator Obama in February of 2007. And it seems to me that objectively, the media have covered these two announcements very differently. Do you sense that? They're not like ragging on you, but it's invisible. They haven't covered it the way that they covered President Obama's announcement.
There's no doubt that the truth of my life disproves the lies of the radical left. When you have a conservative candidate who sees himself first as a Christian, an American, and then as an African American, it is dangerous to the far radical left. And the fourth arm of the Democrat Party sometimes feels like our national media outlets. They don't want to cover the proof of my life that disproves the lies of the left. They are timid, tepid, and frankly invisible sometimes in having proper coverage of what is in fact the American story. My life and your life and every of your listeners, within 3 generations, we all have to overcome obstacles to produce opportunities. The pain of our lives oftentimes reveal the purpose of our lives. And here's what they refuse to do in national media today. They refuse to tell the whole story of American progress, the whole story of the American evolution. Why? Because power and control too often comes from weaponizing race and weaponizing class. These folks are experts at doing both. And when you have someone whose life starts with a single mama in poverty in the Deep South, and I'm able to rise to the place where I own my own business, I'm succeeding in life, I'm able to represent my entire state, majority state. Of course, it doesn't look like me, but in South Carolina and in America, we judge people on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. That flies in the absolute face of the narrative that is being placed in the public forum by the radical left and supported by their media. The last thing they want to do is cover my candidacy.
2 more questions, Senator. Are you going to get the 40,000 individual contributions you need to be on the debate stage in August?
Yes, sir. I will be on the debate stage in August. I look forward to having a conversation about my positive, optimistic, but yet very conservative message.
And last question about those debates. I want to have a dozen of them, and I want them lined up, and I hope to be on the stage with you. But do you mind who is the presenting network? Are you worried about, NBC or CNN or ABC being the presenting? I'm not. I think it doesn't matter, but what do you think?
I do think it matters, to be honest with you, Hugh. I think ultimately I would rather have the brilliant Hugh Hewitt asking us penetrating questions about what our conservative policies will do for America and where are the differences within that policy construct, as opposed to having ABC, NBC, CBS weaponizing our debates to create clips for the Democrats' commercials in the future. It is the one thing I believe that I've said this to the RNC as well. I believe that as many of our debates that can be in the hands of conservative outlets, proving conservative thinkers, the better the country gets to see who we are and what we represent, as opposed to demonizing our positions and asking gotcha questions, not so that we can share with America where we stand on the issues, but so that they can clip us and use it in commercials against us.
I appreciate the time, Senator. Keep coming back. We could talk for hours. I appreciate the time. And Vote Tim Scott is your website. We will see you on the radio or on a debate stage soon. Thank you, Senator.
God bless you. Thank you, Hugh.
You too.